approved something called an action of immediate witness that would make it policy for, number one, UU congregations around the country to support the amendment. Number two, for our national leadership to actively promote and publicize it. Number three, for the state coordinating groups, known as state action networks, to support it statewide. And four, and this is the critical one, for UUs to reach out to other communities of faith, and later we added of ethical convictions, to explore our areas of commonality. David Carr met with us in Louisville, and we created the Interfaith Caucus as a branch of Move to Amend to start this outreach. Now, we realized that faith communities and those of ethical convictions, such as humanists, atheists, agnostics, can have widely varying values. So we organized a workshop to identify what we could find as common values. In August of 2013, some 30 plus individuals representing 9 faith communities, plus another group consisting of those holding ethical convictions but who weren't theists, identified 3 values that we found we all shared in common. First was preference and care for the poor. Second, loving your neighbors. And third, stewardship of creation, or some would say of the planet and all its beings. Well, so how do corporations violate these values? Well, I think we all know these. We may not have thought about them in these terms. For the poor, they fight against increasing minimum wages. They seek to destroy unions. And they're continually reducing well-paying jobs, forcing many into multiple minimum wage jobs and finding themselves just unable to escape from poverty. How about loving thy neighbor? Look at all the pain we're causing to undocumented workers coming into this country. Companies like the Corrections Corporation of America have pushed through laws privatizing prisons and ensuring that they're filled with those workers who in many cases are escaping violence and murder in their home countries. And as for stewardship of creation, I'm sure you're all aware of the Pope's encyclical last year, where he said, from our interpretation, 4 things. Number 1, climate change is real. Number 2, it is primarily caused by humans. Number 3, the major force leading to climate change is corporations pursuing unlimited profit at the expense of everything else. And number 4, communities of faith have a duty to act. Now, we think this is really the most critical of all, because if we don't find a way to reverse climate change, all the other concerns we have and for which we'd like to find solutions would become moot. Problems overwhelmed by the flooding, storms, heat, droughts, sea level rise, as well as upheavals and likely revolutions that are sure outcomes of uncontrolled rises in greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. So, next slide, I think. The Interfaith Caucus is bringing together members, that's it, that was it, sorry. No, here we go. Faith and ethical communities all around our country at the local, state, and national levels to push for a constitutional amendment for all the reasons that we talk about in our affiliates. But we add to that the faith-based drive that many have to correct the ills being perpetrated by many transnational corporations. Now, when we set aside the differences between our communities that are surely real and focus on working to correct the ills that truly outrage us, we can come together in our millions. Together, we can rapidly accelerate the movement towards a constitutional amendment. Then, as you know, we the people will elect representatives without the huge impact of money from the wealthy and from corporations, representatives who will do the will of the people and begin to work to reverse climate change, reducing inequality, bringing justice and opportunity to the millions of our neighbors who today find none. And I'll turn it back over to you now, Jessica.
Great, thank you so much, Michael. So we'll move now into the goals of the Interfaith Caucus. And Michael, if you want to chime in here, feel free. So the Interfaith Caucus works together at national, state, local, and faith community levels to help support the efforts to pass the We the People Amendment. And of course, this is the primary goal of Move to Amend. So the work of the Interfaith Caucus is to support that work through the Interfaith Caucus lens. We engage faith and ethical communities and educate about how the work of ending corporate rule can be approached from a spiritual, ethical, or religious perspective. So Move to Amend is dedicated to building a broad, deep movement which means that we do a lot of talking to folks, connecting with them where they're at. So if they're coming from a faith-based perspective, we work to educate about how corporate constitutional rights and money as speech can be seen through that lens and from that perspective. We also work to pass resolutions through congregations and other bodies. We have passed many resolutions of support and secured endorsements from many congregations, councils, and other bodies like that within different denominations and churches, and to show support for the We the People Amendment. So now I want to tell you about some of the great resources we have to offer anyone who's interested in this work. So we've got lots of sample sermons and presentations. Our core team members have been visiting congregations and communities all over the country to talk about the Interfaith Caucus and the We the People Amendment, and we've put together lots of sample sermons and presentations and scripts, all of which you can find at movetoamend.org/interfaith-caucus. You can also navigate there through the Move to Amend Coalition tab at the top of the website. And there's some good stuff there, and it will lead you to those resources. We also have a list of endorsing organizations and resolutions. So we're always updating this list as new resolutions are passed and endorsements are secured. And you can check out this list on the webpage that I just told you about. There's also a list of all resolutions in support at movetoamend.org/resolutions-map, and you can navigate there through the website as well. So if you know of any endorsements that aren't yet on the website, please do let us know. I'm sure there are some out there that we're not aware of, and we'd love to have them on the website. And this is helpful if you're talking to someone about passing a new resolution, and you want to show them, the wide support that we have around the country already, or show them that others in their, in their faith community have passed resolutions as well. This is a useful tool. We also have lots of other educational tools like brochures, talking points, articles, etc. We have lots and lots of good stuff to talk about and show folks when you're in conversation with faith and ethical communities. We also have monthly calls for the caucus, and so this is really a resource that we encourage you to use. And I'll talk more about this later on, but you're all invited to join our monthly calls if you want support or more information about the work that we've done, or have any questions at all about how you could talk to your faith community or a faith community that you are interested in connecting with about this work. So tell you a bit about what we've done so far, which is a lot. Move to Amend, as some of you know, travels all over the country to do barnstorming tours. So we take the Move to Amend messages all over the country, and we usually speak at town halls or libraries. But we've held Move to Amend events now at over 80 Unitarian Universalist churches and other types of churches as well, all over the country. So while we're there, of course, we're networking and talking with those folks, many of whom are in support of Move to Amend already and have supported us just in housing us and welcoming us in their building. We have built a strong network on social media and in the Nation Builder database. We have hundreds of folks on our mailing list within the Move to Amend database, lots of likes on social media, and so we're constantly building and networking and building for power in that way. We've secured almost 60 endorsements from faith and ethical organizations due to the hard work of our volunteers, and we've helped to pass at least 35 resolutions in support of the We the People Amendment. And I'm going to let Michael add on to this to tell you a little bit more about the work we've done so far. Go ahead, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. Some of you may know this already, but we've got actually 3 Facebook pages that are being populated by people interested in this. The first is the Move to Amend Unitarian Universalists, which has over 940 or so likes. And that was our first one. It really got populated after the 2013 General Assembly. But the second one was the Move to Amend Interfaith Caucus, which now has over 500. And here we don't really know, of course, who everybody is unless we go into the detail on Nation Builder. But we send e-blasts to both of those lists as appropriate, and I encourage you to get on that if you wish. And I think the instructions, I hope, are available. We can always get that to you. And the third one is called Corporate Personhood Impact on Everything. And this is one that we use to identify the areas that in our society where you can see corporate person and corporate power at work. I saw a question a couple of minutes ago from someone asking to define ethical communities, and how that came about is kind of interesting. At that first workshop that we held in August of 2013, we had a lot of people attending from different faith communities, and we separated them into each faith in one location and asked them to work together to identify their areas of interest. And there was a group that was still remaining in the room, hadn't identified as members of faith community. And when I asked, who are you? They said, well, we're humanists or atheists or agnostics. And we share those values with people who are members of religions, many of those values anyway. And so we said, of course you do, and added them on. So we had to change the description from just faith communities to communities of ethical convictions. And that's how that came about. Yeah, I'll pass it back to you now, for now, Jessica.
Thanks so much, Michael. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about what's next. We've got lots of good stuff coming up, but first I'm going to let Michael talk first about the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly that's coming up. So go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. I'm just right back on again. Yeah, this is one of the most exciting things going on right now, and I'm presuming that some of you, or quite a few of you on this call, are Unitarian Universalists, and I should just be saying UUs, it's quicker. We had applied for a workshop sometime last year that was not accepted, but just actually a few days ago, they contacted me to say that we were back on. So we will have a workshop in Columbus, which is my hometown, and our church is the host congregation, specifically on the Interfaith Caucus and Move to Amend. The title for the workshop is Faith Communities Can Work Together to Reverse Climate Change. And as I said earlier, I think that's one of the most important things that we can change. But changing that, doing the things that we need to do to change that, which is the amendment, will also result in changing many other things. And we're, of course, encouraging all UUs who are going there to attend that workshop. And what I wanted to do was ask those who are on this call who will be attending and are aware of the challenges that we face to, number one, attend our workshop once we have the date and the time. And secondly, and this is important, tell others in your church and your congregation that they should also attend and become familiar. And here's one that is also of interest. We've got lots of churches that we know have passed resolutions, and we don't have visibility of them because they haven't been posted to the Move to Amend website. So if you or others you know have passed a resolution or would like to endorse Move to Amend, please do so and be sure to post them so that we can report accurately how many churches, and there are more and more non-UU churches, by the way, that are endorsing all the time now. And here's another thing that's very important. We had requested originally 2 70-minute slots, 75 minutes, I guess, yeah, but we only got one. So if you have led an action in your church in favor of Move to Amend, or have been involved in any interfaith action relating to Move to Amend, please contact me in plenty of time before the GA so that we can incorporate your experiences into our discussion. Now, our overall experience for GA will be this, and this is why I say it's so important. We are hoping to leave GA with as many UUs as possible committed to supporting Move to Amend, not only by joining or creating local affiliates, but also by reaching out to other communities of faith in their areas, learning how their values and beliefs and principles are also violated by corporate action, and then speaking to them about the vital opportunity that we have to come together to bring real change to our planet and our nation. We have all the support materials you could possibly need, and I can't overemphasize that this is an opportunity to really grow, because if we can then talk to these new people, new churches that we recruit, and ask them to multiply it in their own denominations, and then, let's say, upstream, uphill, vertically to their state organizations and their national organization, this could really grow a lot faster. So that's what we'll be doing June 22nd through the 26th when we have the date and the time of day. We'll, of course, post that through Nation Builder and on the Facebook pages. And we encourage, as I said, all UUs who are attending GA to attend the workshop, and let's get this thing really moving, going into high gear. Thanks, Jessica.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael. And of course, if you have any questions about that, how to access that information, or want to know more about that, you can contact us here at the office or contact Michael directly. So more about what's coming up next. As some of you know, Move to Amend is in the process of finalizing our strategic plan. We're very excited about this. And based on the goals of this plan, we hope to pass 50 resolutions this year through congregations and other such bodies. So we need a lot of help with this. That's a big task, but based on our success so far, we know that it's possible. So if you're part of a church or congregation or community or whatever you call it, for which this sort of outreach makes sense, please do get in touch with us and learn more about what it takes to pass these resolutions. We'd love to help support you in exploring this and talking to folks and make sure that you feel like you have the tools you need to help make this happen. And then coming up, of course, is our ongoing standing monthly calls for support. So this is a formal invitation to join us on those calls. Usually the portion of the call is talking about what's already in progress and sort of the business of the Interfaith Caucus, and part of it is set aside for folks to join and tell us what they're doing or what they're interested in, ask for support, advice, brainstorming, and kind of connect with folks who have done this work in the past. There's lots of wisdom and direction available, so please do join us and get that support if you're interested or even curious. And then, of course, we continue to build a network for power. We are traveling all over the country. Michael especially is always on the move, it seems, talking to new groups of people. As we do our barnstorming tours, we talk about the Interfaith Caucus everywhere we go, and are encouraging folks to see the issues of corporate personhood and money as speech from that perspective. And I also encourage you, if this is something that speaks to you and you feel like you would want to write something about how this relates to your faith and ethical beliefs, to please do. We always love to hear stories or personal accounts of how this speaks to you and why it's important to you from that perspective. And that's part of how we build, is by telling our own stories. And then next is some concrete actions you can take with the Interfaith Caucus. So you can make a presentation or host a discussion session if you are in community with other folks who think like you. We would love to help support you in talking with them or studying the issues from that perspective. You can contact your local, state, national organizations to gather support and endorsements or to pass resolutions. Of course, we didn't go into detail on this webinar about logistics, and that's because it looks very different for every group. But we'd love to help you figure it out. And and talk with whatever level of organization makes sense, and hopefully, as Michael was saying, go up the chain to larger structures to gather support. You can like us on Facebook. Michael said there are several Facebook groups that relate to the Interfaith Caucus, but the main Interfaith Caucus Facebook is listed here on this slide. And you can like us, and we share articles there, and we'd love to have your input and support in that way. And if you're really interested, you can join our core team. We have a group of, anywhere from 6 to 20 folks, I think, who participate in different levels of, resource development and offering support and doing on-the-ground work. So if you want to be part of our team, we'd love to have you. And of course, we have our monthly calls. Everyone's invited, and you can participate in whatever way makes sense to you based on your interest and time and all of that. We'll go here now to some questions. I see a few here in the chat bar, and if you have any others, please do write them in now, and Michael, maybe you can help me address some of these as well. Let's see, I'm going to read a question from Jonathan Tong here that says, the Pacific Northwest Conference of both the United Methodist Church and the United Church of Christ have both passed resolutions in support of amending the Constitution to settle once and for all that constitutional rights are for people, not corporations, and that money is not speech. Let me know if you'd like details on them. Yes, absolutely. We want to hear about anything like that. Please do send us an email, and we'd love to get that stuff on the website and get in touch with those folks to see if we can't even build on what's already been done. That's great. Let's see, Michael from Massachusetts, you are wondering, is there a pre-written resolution text for religious congregations? Michael, do you want to address this one?
Sure, I just answered it in chat, but there's quite a few of them. I have them on my file, but we also have them on our Dropbox page, which we're gradually moving to the Google Docs page. And Kinder Muntz, who is one of our team in Florida, has been focusing on getting resolutions to faith communities and other groups. And there's quite a few on file, both that we have drafted and used, as well as those that other churches and other organizations have drafted and used. Ethical union people I know have, and so have a number of other groups. So as we move forward, we'll slide those more and more into the Google Docs folders that are on the Move to Amend site, and we'll get that information out. And if anybody wants to get something right now, they can contact me directly at mgreenmanoh@gmail.com. One of our challenges is just getting the information that is out there that people are using. So we always appreciate hearing from people that have done resolutions or have had endorsements or have given presentations, so that we can continue to increase our knowledge of where the Interfaith Caucus is reaching people. And this word from Jonathan Tong just a couple of minutes ago was an exciting thing for me, because I didn't know that. So all of you who are interested, please keep those letters coming, as they say, those cards and letters. And we will keep increasing the amount of material we have and making it available. Probably post it on the Facebook pages, and certainly in the blasts that we can do with Nation Builder. If you haven't added yourself to the Interfaith Caucus tag, I guess I'd say, on Nation Builder, go to movetoamend.org/interfaith-caucus, and there's a menu item there that will allow you to do that, as well as find a lot of the information that is already available. As I said, we're getting more of it out all the time. Other questions?
Great, thank you, Michael. Someone said you didn't see any links to the Interfaith Caucus on movetoamend.org. So if you go to the main website there and you go to the Coalition tab at the top left-hand side, you'll see an issue sector caucus tag, option. And if you click there, you can see a list of all of our caucuses, and from there you can navigate to the Interfaith Caucus webpage where you'll find resources and contact information and all of that. Mark Renwick is wondering if anyone will be in Jacksonville, Florida anytime soon. I don't think that I will be anytime soon. Michael, do you have any plans to be out there?
Well, I don't, but Florida is one of the most active Interfaith Caucus areas of the country, and Kimbra Muntz, as I mentioned, is sort of leading the thing there, but there's a lot of other people who are involved. So if you needed a presentation or something else in Florida, I'm sure we could take care of you. And of course, as we mentioned, we already have a lot of presentations on the website available, so that somebody who is interested in pursuing this doesn't need to wait for one of us to come in or to be available, but can pull down some of the presentations, their scripts with PowerPoint slides. Some of them, of course, need modifying because times change, but there's a lot of information there. And I guess what I'll have to do is put the Dropbox access URL on the Interfaith Caucus Facebook page so that that's available to more people. And as I said, as we gradually move things over to the Move to Amend website, then they'll be available through that medium as well. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Michael. Again, movetoamend.org, and you can find the Interfaith Caucus webpage there, and that is where you'll find contact information and also a reminder about when our monthly calls are. If you have any questions at all or want support, you can contact me here at the office, or you can join us on our calls anytime for any amount of support that you need. And we'd love to talk with you about doing this work. Any other questions before we end here? Doesn't look like it. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in and learning about the Interfaith Caucus. And again, we'd love to have your presence on the calls. The phone number, Barbara is asking for the office phone number, 707-269-0984. And that's also on the website. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll be able to see all our contact information there. And I'd love to talk with you. Again, my name is Jessica Munger, and Michael Wood as well. And thank you again for tuning in. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Oh, and everyone, before you jump off, I will remind you that when you close the meeting here, there's a survey, and if you please fill out that survey to let us know how you liked the presentation, that would be very helpful to us. Thanks so much. Take care.